Hello and welcome to another episode of TFG Indian Football Roundup presented by Rayor. Kevin, do you know who is back today?
It's just you and me, Chiranjit. Was there a surprise element I might be missing?
Man, it's gonna be in the episode's title, so it's not gonna be a surprise element for the listeners anyway. But Rahul the Prophet Beke is back on the fan garage.
Oh, that's wonderful. I remember. So this episode brings back memories of Rahul predicting some things. Is that the same episode that I'm talking about?
Exactly, let's take a look at what he predicted. Just one last question. What is the target for this season personally for you?
Personally, I have to win ISL, and the second target will be to get into the national team. And hopefully, I score a goal in the finals.
Okay, so you already won most of the major tournaments out there, right? I mean, you got the CFL titles, you won I League. No, not yet. So you've not neither the I League nor the ISL, right? So far. Do you think this time it's gonna happen?
Yeah, now I can't go back to our league, so this is the only thing I have to win ISL.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, surely we will do it.
The top team never wins in ISL. Do you think the jinx will be broken this time?
Yeah, this will be broken this time.
So in late February 2019, as you saw, Rahul Beke in an interview on this channel, he predicted that Bengaluru FC were gonna win the ISL final. He was gonna score in it, and within a few months he was gonna get into the Indian national team. That was his target for the rest of the season, and it took about 4-5 months, and all of three predictions came true. And not only that, if you have kept an eye on thefangarage.com, Rahul Beke spoke to us just before the Bengaluru FC Chennai FC game, and he made two predictions about that game. One was he was going to get his first start of the season, and the second prediction was Bengaluru FC were going to get the first win of the season. So when we say he's a prophet, he can literally see the future. We're not very far off. I have not seen anybody else who just rattles off making one prediction very specific, one after another, and they all just happen. And it's not like a small generic kind of prediction. Every single task that he predicts ahead is pretty difficult, and so far his batting average is 100%. And that's not all. The interview published on the website is just part of it. He actually spoke to us longer and predicted what Bengaluru FC, he himself, and the Indian national team are going to do in 2021. So, those predictions are still coming, and you will get to hear them exclusively on this episode. So, keep listening till the end because everything he has said and claimed on the Fan Garage has come true.
Chiranjit,
Can you even imagine
Chiranjit,
that?
that batting average spot right there, is it something got to do with Mohan Bagan playing in one of the most heated derbies there in cricket, or it is just something that just brings to bring a
Well,
mind?
we're gonna stick to the football element of the club. Of course, if you have been following the Bengal T20 challenge, you would have seen the East Bengal Mohun Bagan cricket match that happened, and that went down to the last ball, and Mohun Bagan won the match by 1 run. So if you wanna check out the highlights on online, that's out there. But today is about Bengaluru FC. Today is about Rahul Beke. Very interesting position for both. Rahul Beke is, of course, playing for the national team now. He suffered an injury during the preseason and he took time to recover. He's regaining his peak fitness, and so are many of the teams. Bengaluru FC are slowly getting their house in order, and they got their first win against Chennai FC. Given the way they have played in the first three matches, do you see anything that Bengaluru FC fans should be optimistic about in the way they have progressed over time?
I think what we need to look forward as neutrals, and I will definitely go by the sentiment of BFC fans a little bit later. But in general, we see every team coming back to what we really expected out of them. Yes, the first round of matches really look shaky for everybody, and then there's clear reasons why that was happening. A extremely short preseason. Some teams even weren't able to complete all their the necessary duties before getting started into the season already. The very positive factor out here is we're able to see what the actual strengths of each team are as we progress. It's almost like the third match or second or third game for everybody, and now they really look like they've settled in well. Coming back to the point that where we're talking about Bengaluru FC and the fans that were looking forward to seeing the actual team to get back to their gear. I think that is coming up right now, and this gives us a good glimpse of what we can expect in the next round of matches at least.
Obviously, things have been a little bit different for each team. Every team sort of took their time to get into groove. And I want to make a point about the Bengaluru FC defense that we have seen evolve in the past few games. They started off with this somewhat loosely defined 3-4-3 kind of a formation with Khabra on the right, Fran Gonzalez in the middle, Juanan on the left. That was the three defenders that they went with on the first game. Then, obviously, it did not work out against Goa. I mean, they started off well, but during the 65th to 69th minute, there was a 4 minute window in which they conceded two goals. Igor Angulo was the one who scored both goals, and there was one defender who was tracking him on both of the occasions. It was Fran Gonzalez. And Fran Gonzalez happens to be one of the last signings that Bengaluru FC made. And given he was given the central defense all by himself, with Patalu and Wangjam coming back in to support him occasionally, it was a huge responsibility that he was carrying, and he pretty much failed. And I'm not like saying it's his fault or anything. He joined the team late, of course. Being a defender, he will need extra time to adjust to the team. But the fact remains that on both occasions that Bengaluru FC conceded goals, he was the one who was tracking the goal scorer, and he missed his mark both times. And they started him again next match, and Hyderabad came close in the first half. A little bit into the second half, they subbed him out, and since then, Bengaluru FC have not conceded a goal. And that's against Chennai FC, whose attack is not as bad. So a little bit of a tinkering fixed most of the holes that Bengaluru FC had in their defense. And so far, the only surviving problem they have is mostly through the offense, because we saw the two goals they scored against FC Goa. Both of them were like a little bit clumsy, came from aerial balls. The third goal that they scored against Chennai FC, that came from a penalty. Clear-cut chances being created and converted, that's still not happening.
Chiranjit, the point about the defense being a bit unstable at the moment is very valid, but I feel going to your last resort of cutting off the final ball, the through balls, and the final third is for the attacking team is a bit of a worry for the defenders, because there's I feel there was a lack of a bit of steel in the central midfield, and that some way has been patched by the reintroduction of Dimas there. Dimas a figure. He's almost, I think he's played every game last season, or at least most of the games. He has been a figure that screens things around him. He is able to match up with Eric Partalu there, and that somehow caused problems to creating a space ahead of the central defense, and that's why you saw Fran move out of his position on so many occasions. I wouldn't blame a central defender to let go when you're playing a three man defense. Rahul Bheke, who's also been one of the core team members from last season over the years, was again not starting due to the injury that he had faced earlier. And now the introduction of Dimas seems to have calmed the nerves of everybody around. Somehow, they seem to have a lot more teeth in the attack, and also the hole that was left in the central midfield seemed to have filled up by Dimas's resurrection, I would say.
Yeah, Wangjam seems to be a little bit more comfortable in his central midfield role with Dimas. I think a little bit to his left, more 4-3-3 traditional stuff that we are seeing, and Bengaluru FC are starting to look a bit more like the Bengaluru FC of old.
Chiranjit, an interesting look would be if you just analyze how Ashik has been used in the team. He's not a fullback, I would say. He has played on the wings, a bit of new role for him, a new position. It seems to be working in the favor of Bengaluru there. He's been able to drop down a bit, and he does have a good amount of pace there. So I think we're seeing a combination that is being tried out by the coach, and probably in it will give you hints of what we can expect a starting formation into the next 2 or 3 games. The point that you were making about not having so clear cut chances that we would see Bengaluru do so often is Chetri somehow doesn't look as sharp as he has been over the years. Somehow, he is not in the best of position. We saw in the first 2 games as well. He had a bit of chances where you would have expected the striker to just bury a goal over there. And even in the game yesterday, his left foot, which is no, more or less so lethal, is just flying. The balls are flying over the crossbar aimlessly. At a point, you might just expect this is not the same Chetri we were used to seeing so many years.
Could that be just him taking extra time to get fit because of these unnatural situations that the preseason happened in? Because usually you would think that Sunil Chetri would be the one to keep it together the most. During the pandemic, he was going out there traveling with his family, and he was one of the first to go to the camp at Bellary, and he was there for the duration, much longer than the foreign players who came in late. So it's actually a little bit surprising to see that he's still not 100%, or at least better off in terms of his fitness and his concentration or his flow of the game than his teammates or some of the other players who are playing with him. Given he's one of the most disciplined people, period, I've ever seen. Like, forget just football. He's you go around comparing the personal discipline and mental fortitude that you see among anybody in this country. Sunil Chetri is gonna be near the top of the list.
Yeah, and that's there. You can't imagine a team without Chetri wherever he's playing, Bengaluru FC or wherever he's been in the past. No, he's an integral part of the team's success, and the very fact that Indian goal scorers have never been in the top in the overall tally, but Sunil Chetri is topping the charts for everybody there. He's so you do expect a lot from him over the years, and this probably is a season where you might see something different from Bengaluru by the fact that we see a lot of set pieces being continued in a way that this always been a strength for Bengaluru FC in their set pieces, and in the last game as well. We saw what's working well. There was this moment where Beke all of a sudden had himself free in the box from a
Oh
corner.
yeah.
These things are worked out on the practice ground, and this is not if there's one thing that's not firing, there's plan B and C, and that's the beauty about a team that looks at a longer perspective of a season, and Bengaluru has always been there, and they're able to manage multiple tournaments together because they've got the depth in the team. And no, Sunil Chetri not firing may not be the biggest problem that Bengaluru should be worried about right now, because they've got ample of artillery up their sleeve, and that's already been seen there. And it might be just some time that we see him back in action and firing in goals again.
Yeah, it seems like this periodic discussion that we keep having around Sunil Chetri. He plays a few bad games, and we start thinking, okay, is this time to move on or go to a plan B, or who's gonna replace him, and all of that. In the end, he always comes back, because I remember having this conversation in 2015 when Bengaluru FC lost the league to Mohan Bagan. Last few matches, he was actually not even getting started. Sunil Chetri, his form was so off. It seemed like, okay, an era is coming to an end. All of a sudden, next season, he's as ferocious as ever. So let's see what happens with him and when he makes his comeback, because we really need him. Like, we are literally standing at the precipice of one of the most important seasons in Indian football history, given that Bengaluru FC are back in AFC Cup. We've got World Cup qualifiers and Asian qualifiers coming up after a long break. Right now, given the long gap that players have gone through because of the pandemic, we can't just count on some junior player to just step up and replace him right now, or just take away some of the responsibilities that Sunil Chhetri usually carries. So, Kevin, now that Bengaluru FC have started to produce results, win against Chennai FC has always been one of the big goals that they chase. And coming into this game, it was completely tied head to head, like 3 wins for Bengaluru, 3 wins for Chennai FC, 1 draw, and they call this a rivalry. Some people call it a derby, and right now the all-time bragging rights are back with Bengaluru FC because they've gone ahead on head to head. So now that things are starting to click, what do you think they will do in the next few games?
I think the first part of the slight transformation that we've seen in this game compared to the first two games is we're seeing the players who own their position coming back to claim it. That will be the first instance of getting and selecting your starting 11, mostly the ones who will be playing the part in the club's success, and expecting a bit of changes in the front line as well. We've not used to seeing Chetri come on as a substitute being 100% fit, so I don't think that's happening again in the next couple of games. But yes, some combinations will be tried. I'm really looking at the front line there in a way that picking out more goals. We saw one goal coming in from Silva in the first game, but there's more expected from the Brazilian there. A couple of more attempts on goals, a clear-cut chances being converted might be seen, but the more important factor is getting in the players who have been strong in their positions, and then shaping up and tinkering with formations is what I'm looking forward in the next two games.
So, in terms of points, do you expect them to win the next couple of games as well?
See again, the penalty that Sunil Chetri took. You did have a feeling that this is not going in. Probably as a fingertip save coming in. So
Vishal almost got to it.
yes, it's not the Chetri that we are used to seeing. He scored penalties with the confidence of no other. When he's he's stepping up on the spot, it's going in, and he knows where he wants to put it. But yes, goals are difficult to come by. 100% results in the next two games, I am a bit skeptical about.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Bengaluru FC do in their upcoming fixtures, especially on 13th December 2020 on Sunday. There's going to be a big one. It will be Bengaluru FC versus Kerala Blasters. And of course, as we know, there's a huge rivalry that's been forming over the past few years between the supporters of Bengaluru FC and Kerala Blasters. And whenever these two teams play, there's always fireworks on the field and on social media. And talking about Kerala Blasters, as you know, Rayor is the official kit partner of Kerala Blasters this season, and you can go to rayorsports.com and you can buy the official merchandise and other Kerala Blasters related official products, including an official merchandise kit which has a 48-page KBFC comic book, a set of 5 poster cards, there's a KBFC button badge, there's a laptop sticker, and a coloring sheet for kids. Of course, you can get the Kerala Blasters home kit, away kit, and the very special third kit that was designed by a fan. And the early bird offers are still continuing, so go to rayorsports.com and get your Kerala Blasters merchandise right now. And now it's the interview you've been waiting for. It's Bengaluru FC defender Rahul Beke who's gonna talk about how he spent the lockdown days, what he misses about non-match days, staying in the ISL bubble, how he thinks Bengaluru FC and other teams will perform going ahead into the season, and his predictions about how Bengaluru FC, he himself and the Indian national team will do in 2021, which given his past record is very likely to come true. The interview was conducted on 3rd of December, just a day before the Bengaluru FC versus Chennai FC match. So let's jump into the conversation. So first of all, Rahul, thanks for coming back on the Fan Garage. To begin with, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you so much, bhai.
So you're about to turn 30, which means you are
Yeah,
about to reach the peak of your football career within the next few years. How does it
yeah.
feel? Such a long journey, and you're like about to reach the pinnacle.
I think so far the journey was good, and I'm really happy that I'm part of BSC. So yes, I have to keep learning and do my best in my coming days. So hopefully, I will give my best for my team, and hopefully this year we win the title again.
Yes, you are actually in a very interesting position. If you remember, 4th December was the last match you played before your 29th birthday, and
Yeah,
you started out as a substitute in that match. But
yeah,
that match sort of marked this sudden turning point because you went on to start most of the games after that. And
yeah,
you are in a
yeah,
situation
yeah.
this season where you have started from the bench twice. Are you looking for some sort of a turnaround from this game as well? Because you're just exactly 1 year after that you're playing the next game.
Yeah, things are pretty same, and maybe I will be starting tomorrow's game. So I hope from tomorrow onwards we like get back to our winning ways and keep the momentum going.
Do you feel the competition for places in the Bengaluru FC team has gone up compared to last season?
Yeah, it has gone up. Like at present we have very much a balanced side, and there are like you will see two players, 2 to 3 players at every position.
Hmm.
So it's really good competition for everyone. We can like we will be doing our best to be in the first 11. So it's really good for each and everyone, and that is a way we can like take a level up.
Yeah, it's actually must be a bit extra challenging for you this season, considering the lockdowns and the long gap that you had between last season and this season. So how did
Yeah.
you go through this huge gap? I mean, how did you maintain your diet? How much practice did you get when you were away from the team?
I think the challenge is same for each and everyone because everyone is like everyone has faced the same lockdown and the same situation. The only thing is like during the off season where we were not even knowing what will be the future and when we will be playing our matches. So at that time, like I was at my home and I was enjoying the time with my family. But when we came to know that these will be the probably like dates for the upcoming season, so I started doing my training at home. It was not possible for me to go on field, but yes, I started doing it on roads near my apartment, and we ordered few weights from Ludhiana. So we used to do weight training at a apartment space where we can play badminton and all those
Hmm.
stuff. So we used to do our training there. So it was pretty good and it was something different. Only thing was we could not like use any of the grounds to play football. But yeah, I tried my best to maintain the fitness because when we will join the team, it was important for me to come back with a like decent amount of fitness along with me.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was really a different thing apart from like other years, but it was a good learning experience.
Mm. It's when players talk about this long gap, you get two kinds of responses. One was, I was so bored, I just could not wait to get back on the pitch and be back with the team.
Yeah,
And there's another sort of set of people who say that we have to travel all year, very busy schedules. These few months sort of let me reconnect with my family and get back in touch with friends and home, which is something I really appreciated. So which category do you fall in?
I think the because of the situation, I will say that the second one which you said that I got very good time to like be with my family
Mm,
because normally during a season we don't get that much of time,
mm,
but this year we got that time. We can say like all the footballers were pretty much lucky to because of the uh, this pandemic, they got the time to spend with their families, which they normally don't get so much of time. So
mm,
in a way, it was good. Uh, but the other side was like it was a very big gap for the season. Like between the season, it was a very big gap. So it is like individual thing. Like they have to maintain their fitness. They have to like look after themselves. So it was not easy for each and everyone. So I think now the season has started and you can see like the players are not all the teams are not at the highest level of fitness.
mm.
So it was different.
Yeah, but do you think as the training camp progresses, there is a cycle that players go through, and at one point they reach the peak fitness. Maybe just at the start of the season. That's
Yeah,
how it's usually
yeah.
timed. Did that happen this season? Like, are you at the
I
peak?
think yeah. If you ask me individually, personally, for me, I'm not at my peak
Mm,
because I was out for a few weeks due to injury. So I was not. Right now. I'm not at my peak fitness, but yes, I'm back to the path towards the to get much fitter.
mm,
So hopefully within a week or two after playing a few more games, I will be back to my full fitness. But comparing to my other teammates, they are way more better fitter than me, and they have done a pretty good job during the pre-season. So that's it.
mm. Do you think the level of competition seems a bit higher in ISL right now because of lack of maybe preparation or the long gap, or is it like a bit chaotic now because most teams are not very fit and we will not see the real level of these teams until a few weeks later?
I think, yeah, sure, it's right that the teams are not at their best fitness level,
Mm,
but you can see the teams are very much focused because right now, due to this pandemic and being in a bubble, all the teams are very much focused on their game
mm,
because there is nothing much to do.
mm,
So all the if you see the Indian players and the foreign players, everyone is very much focused. Like they only have one job right now, that is playing football and being in a bubble. So all the teams you can see they're doing pretty good job, but only one thing is lacking is fitness.
mm.
But once, like in the coming months, yeah, maybe end of this month, maybe you will see teams are back to their highest level of fitness and you will see much better games.
What are you actually missing about the gap between two matches in normal times because you're in the bubble? Like, do you have a ritual where you go out after a match day
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something?
yeah. Like after the game, normally when we have a recovery session next day,
Mm,
so normally after the recovery session, I try to stay alone because I like being alone after the game. And normally I go out for lunch, to a restaurant, like different restaurant at different games.
mm,
So I like to like stay alone during the recovery day.
mm,
So that's the time that one day after the game I keep myself like very much at a peace. So I don't think much about the game, and I try to recover myself by having good food, or sometimes going for a massage, or like going for a movie, something like that.
mm.
So that's one thing I'm missing here now.
So you
So
you
that's
are a
it.
de facto authority when it comes to Bengaluru restaurants since you try out so many different ones.
Yeah,
So do you know recently Bengaluru FC did that campaign where they were highlighting different restaurants and other businesses in Bengaluru who were
yeah.
affected by the lockdown. So any particular restaurant that was featured in that campaign that you really like or you have tried out in the past?
I think I haven't tried which was featured there,
Okay.
but hopefully once the lockdown is not there, I will go and try those restaurants.
Okay, great. But so far, the Bengaluru FC have had a couple of results that were not the most ideal, and it seems like some of the hard times that we saw Bengaluru FC go through at the start of
Yeah,
2020 is still continuing. Uh,
yeah.
do you think the club is about to break through this bad patch?
I think I don't feel like there is anything like that because if you can see even before we have did like the start of the season we didn't have the result what we wanted. Like we had a draw, like we draw games. Like our first game was draw, and it
Mhm.
happened even before, and it happened even this year. So I think things will turn up. So hopefully from tomorrow things will get back to what we wanted. Like maybe we'll start a winning streak from tomorrow onwards.
Hopefully, hopefully. Chennai FC is a special opponent for Bengaluru FC in the recent years. Like they are absolutely at the level in head-to-head. Like 3 wins for BFC, 3 wins for CFC. Do you see them as one of the biggest rivals for Chennai FC in ISL, or are you thinking about Kerala Blasters or East Bengal or Mohun Bagan?
No, I think for me, like each and everything is equal. Like I take them very seriously. There is nothing like that. That yeah, it's a southern derby.
Hmm.
But right now we are playing in Goa, so and there will be no fans, so there is nothing like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
for me, say it's a southern derby, but for me, every opponent will be equal. Like I respect them, but there's nothing special like Chennai or East Bengal or Kerala game.
Hmm.
So it's important for me to take every game seriously.
But some of your former clubs have joined ISL. Like you're gonna be playing against
Yeah,
East
yeah.
Bengal. Will it be a little bit different emotionally, or you'll just take it as usual?
I think it's really good news, like for Indian football, like they have joined us. But as you know that even last time when we played them against uh, East Bengal in Super Cup final,
Yeah,
so it was a different moment for me. Even I haven't celebrated my goal after scoring against them.
yeah.
So it is something different. But yeah, this year they are in ISL, so surely I will be taking them as some other game, and I will try my best to score again.
But will you celebrate?
Yeah, this time I will.
Okay, that's new.
Yeah, yeah,
But one thing that you did last time we spoke, I think it was end of February in 2019. We did an interview at the club premises, and
okay,
towards the end of the interview, I asked you to make three predictions, right? And you made three predictions. One was that ISL, Bengaluru FC was going to win the ISL final. That was prediction
yeah,
one. The second
yeah,
was you said you wanted to score in the ISL final, and the
yeah.
third prediction was that you wanted to get into the Indian national team,
National
right?
team, yeah,
And within 4 or 5 months, all of the three things that you predicted came true. So
same
at
too.
TFG we
Yeah,
call you Prophet Veke, right?
okay,
So so now that I've got you again, I'm gonna ask
yeah,
you to make three predictions for 2021 because we don't need to hear any more about 2020. So
okay.
yeah, I want you to talk about how far do you think where do you think Bengaluru FC will end up in ISL, in which position?
I think for the league stage, surely we will we will be in the top four, and we will be playing differently.
Hmm.
And hopefully tomorrow we win against Chennai. That's
Yeah.
one of the predictions. Yeah.
Okay.
And if we reach final, then surely I will again score another goal.
Okay, that's three predictions on
Yeah,
one go.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I got a couple of more predictions that I want to ask you as well. AFC Cup
yeah.
2021 is going to be very different. They're gonna have like centralized venue. Are you gonna have to play like 4 games within
Okay,
7 days in the group stage?
okay,
How do you
okay.
think Bengaluru FC does in AFC Cup this time, considering last season was a big mess up that happened in the qualifiers?
I think this year we have a pretty good squad, so I think we will do really well. And I'm pretty much sure that we will we will top the league stage
Mhm.
and we will go to the next stage.
Okay, and
Uh,
the other thing is about the Indian national team. You, of course, predicted you were going to get
yeah,
in there, and you did get in there. And you will be
yeah,
playing hopefully in March and June when the national team gets back in action. But do you
yeah,
think we get any win in any of our remaining World Cup qualifiers?
yeah. Sure, sure. I think because of this long time, like each and every player has got. I
Hmm.
think you can see the players are doing really good. Even there are new players who are playing well for the team. So
Hmm.
I think this time now the players will like they know what's important and what we have to do if to win at least one of the game. So I think I feel really like what can I say like I'm very much sure like surely we will win one of the game.
We've got Bangladesh, which should be one of the win candidates. But what about Qatar? We held them away from home. We don't know where we will play them next. But are you
Yeah.
optimistic about getting a point from them at least?
Sure, sure. Because now the players were very much confident about after that game,
Hmm.
and when they will play again, I don't know what the team will be like, what team will be playing against them, but whoever will be playing, they will do their best, and they will try to get at least a point.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rahul the Prophet Beke has once again made some very interesting predictions. For Bengaluru FC, he has said that the Blues will be top 4 this season and they will play in the playoff finals. And he wants to score a goal again, which, if he does, he's gonna be having a new record to his own because no player has ever scored in 2 ISL finals so far. In AFC Cup, he's predicting that Bengaluru FC will get into the knockout stages. It's not unlikely to say the least. And for Indian football team, he has said that India will win a World Cup qualifier match, which, if you have been following the campaign so far, has not happened, not in the second round. It's all been draws and losses for the Indian national team so far. And of course, the return leg match against Qatar, the reigning Asian champions, he said that the Indian team will try very hard to get another point out of it, which is not exactly saying they will get a point out of it, but we'll just put that in the list of predictions as well. So take note of what Rahul the Prophet Beke has said, because given his record so far, everything he says is very likely to come true. And wouldn't it be magical if it actually happens? Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Keep following at the rate TFG Football for all the updates about Indian football, including ISL and now IFA Shield, which has started today, 6th of December. Some very interesting matches coming up over the next few weeks. We will be covering everything on thefangarage.com, and sooner rather than later, we will be back again with the next episode with more awesome content on Indian football. Thank you, stay safe, goodbye.